Welcome to day 2 GLP and menopause mini series. And by now you've probably noticed two things. GLP-1 medications are everywhere, and menopause conversations finally starting to happen. So naturally, the overlap between the two has become a really big topic. And women are asking, are these medications actually helpful during menopause? Could this help with my weight, appetite, blood sugar? Are there risks I should know about? And how does all this fit with hormones, muscle, digestion, and long-term health? And today we're going to talk about what GLP-1s actually mean for women in midlife, and not from like a hype perspective and not from a fear-based one either, just context. Okay. So let's even start with why so many women around perimenopause and menopause are even curious about these medications in the first place. And no, it's not about assuming every woman wants to lose weight, but the reality is many women notice changes in their body during this phase of life, and that can be really unfamiliar and feel really frustrating. And so the first thing is like changes in your body composition and weight. So around menopause, a mix of factors collide, right? We got hormonal shifts, we've got aging, we've got higher stress, poor sleep, changes in appetite hormones, and even women who haven't gained much weight often start noticing something else, like their body shape changes. And so sometimes that means like more fat around the midsection, less muscle tone, maybe a feeling that weight is sticking differently than it used to. And this isn't just about appearance. There's also an increase in visceral fat, and that's the fat that's stored like around our organs, which we can't see, but it is a direct effect on our health. And so it makes sense that some women would look at GLP-1s as the tool to help manage weight or body fat during this transition. The second thing is changes in metabolic health risk. And so menopause isn't just a reproductive transition, it's a metabolic one. And so during this phase, women see an increased risk of insulin resistance, of blood sugar instability, of cardiovascular disease, of high blood pressure. And so GLP-1 medications were originally developed for type 2 diabetes, and they're still widely used for blood sugar regulation. They're also showing promise for improved certain cardiovascular risk markers. So women with prediabetes, insulin resistance, or a family history of metabolic disease, these medications may be prescribed for reasons that go far beyond weight loss. Okay. The third thing is changes in hunger, appetite, and that food noise. Okay. So this one catches a lot of women off guard. So during perimenopause and menopause, hunger and fullness cues can change dramatically. Some women feel hungrier than ever or less satisfied after their meals. They notice more cravings or more of that food noise. Like all you can think about is food. Or we kind of go into that zombie mode of like, oh my God, how did I just eat all of that lunch, right? And sleep disruption plays a role here too, because poor sleep can increase appetite and cravings. And so the GLP-1 medications work on the gut-brain signaling pathways that influence hunger, appetite, and satiety. So for some women, this means feeling full sooner, having fewer cravings, or like a quieter relationship with food. And for women who feel like food has been like mentally exhausting for years, this can be a huge relief for them. So before we go any further, there's something really important that doesn't get talked about enough when it comes to GLP-1 medications, and that's proper dosing and ongoing medical support. So these medications are very powerful, and they're designed to work with your physiology and not override it. So that means like dosing really matters. How quickly those doses are increased matters. How your body responds matters. And what's happening outside of the medication, so your nutrition, your movement, your sleep, your stress, matters just as much. And so this isn't like a set it and forget it type situation. Okay. So GLPs are meant to be titrated thoughtfully, monitored over time, and adjusted based on your individual response, not based on what someone else is doing or what you saw online. And this is where many women run into the challenges, because the medication may be prescribed, but no one is helping them navigate, making sure they're eating enough protein to protect muscle and bone, managing digestive side effects, maybe adjusting exercise appropriately so it's working with, not against the medication. Or even understanding like what symptoms are medication related versus menopause related. And so this is where medical oversight and coaching together can make a really big difference. And in my work, I help women support everything around the medication, not by replacing their doctor, but by helping them to stay nourished when appetite is low, to protect lean muscle mass through smart strength training, to support digestion and recovery. And we track symptoms so conversations with providers are cleaner and more productive. And so the goal isn't just weight loss. The goal is health, strength, and stability, especially during menopause. Now, here's the part that often gets skipped online, okay? The GLP medications can be helpful, but they're not neutral. And around menopause, some challenges become especially important to pay attention to. So challenge number one are the nutrient gaps. So most people eat significantly less on a GLP-1 medication. Sometimes it's 16 to 39% fewer calories a day, and that adds up quickly. So if food quality and nutrient intake are not prioritized, women can really fall short on their protein, their calcium, their B vitamins, and other micronutrients that are especially important during menopause. And this doesn't mean the medication is bad, but it does mean that how you eat while you are on it matters a lot. So tomorrow we're going to go much deeper into the nutrition strategies that protect your health while using these medications. So make sure you tune in for that one. Challenge number two is muscle and bone loss. And this is a big one, and honestly, one that I care very deeply about. Anytime weight is lost, some lean mass is lost too. And lean mass includes muscle, bone, and connective tissue. And so women already start losing bone during menopause due to the hormonal changes that we're going through. And so with GLP-1s, studies suggest that there's about 15 to 20% of weight loss may come from muscle. And in poorly supported weight loss, that number can be even higher. And this is why resistance training and adequate protein are non-negotiable for women in midlife, especially if one of these medications is part of the picture. And so we're going to talk much more about movement and strength training on day 4. Challenge number 3 are digestive issues. So GLP-1 medications, they slow down your digestion. This is part of how they work, but it can also lead to different side effects like nausea, constipation, diarrhea, bloating. And here's the tricky part. Menopause already affects our digestion. So as we age, our gut motility slows, digestive tissues, they lose their elasticity, the enzyme production decreases, and the gut microbiome, it becomes less diverse. And so hormonal changes, especially drops in progesterone, can also slow bowel movements. So for some women on GLP-1s, it can feel like adding fuel to an already very sensitive digestive system. And this doesn't mean they're a no-go, but it does mean that digestive support is really important to keep top of line. Another question I get is like, what about GLP-1s and hormone therapy? And the honest answer is we do not have a lot of data on that yet. There was a small study done in 2024 that suggested that women on both the GLP-1 medication and menopause hormone therapy lost more weight than those just on the GLP-1s alone. But that study was pretty limited. So It is possible hormone therapy helped by like improving the sleep, reducing hot flashes, increasing energy for movement, but we can't say for sure yet. Okay. And then in 2025, a study showed that perimenopausal and postmenopausal women lost similar amounts of weight on semaglutide, suggesting that menopause itself may not change how the medication works. But again, more research is needed. So for now, this just kind of remains to be an evolving area. Okay. So before we wrap up, I want to give you something practical. Okay. If you're navigating menopause, GLP-1s, or both, tracking your own data can be incredibly powerful. Okay. Not obsessively, not perfectly, just intentionally. Okay. So tracking things like your changes in weight, if that feels supportive for you and doesn't develop a bad relationship with the scale and ruin your whole day by seeing the numbers change. Just if it feels supportive. Okay. Tracking your sleep quality, not just your hours, but your quality, your energy levels, your hunger and fullness, how your digestion is doing, your mood, any menopause related symptoms. And this awareness helps you to spot patterns and advocate for yourself with your providers. You can also make informed adjustments and stay more connected to your body and not disconnected from it. So today was about context, why women turn to GLP-1s during menopause and what needs extra care if they do. Tomorrow, we're going to zoom in on the nutrition. Okay. So how to eat in a way that supports muscle, bone, metabolism, and what matters most when appetite is low, and also how to avoid the common pitfalls that leave women feeling underfueled. And so looking forward to seeing you in day 3.